Thank you, everyone. I would like to start by saying 3 steps that I would like to share to you. And I believe these 3 steps, if I share it to them, it will change the way you work. It will change the way you design. It will put you to places you never dreamt to be. So the first one is to do the things right. Give everything the best you can and show it to the world or the team you work or wherever you work that you care. If I take you back in 2018, it's where my journey started to pivot. I joined Revolut at the time, and I was there for a few years. So worked with great people, delivered great product. It got to a point where I felt it's time for me now to move on. And the vision has changed to the level where I felt I need to build the best design team. So I met the guys at Deel at the time, and I'm happy to share this. So during my interview, they said, Muhammed, you'll be the head of design of one designer. We're not planning to grow. And I said, can I see the product? I saw the product and I got extremely excited. And I said, look, I'll be extremely happy to join if you give us the autonomy, the freedom to practice design the way we believe it is. And of course, it is your decision as a business owner to take it from there. I said, yeah. So we joined. It wasn't just product and design, it was the entire company at the time, 45 people, worked extremely hard. 6 months down the line, we achieved Series C funding. The company entered the unicorn state, so we evaluated at that time 1.15 billion. Great milestone for many people. I'll be honest with you, we didn't even look at that. So we continued the hard work. We hired more people. 6 months down the line from Series C funding, it's where the true magic started to sparkle. The product started changing. Things start to evolve into different things. Investors got excited. They invested again, and we entered Series D funding. The company valuation went up again to 5.5 billion. All of that within 1 year. A dream come true, truly speaking, for many companies. And for us, it wasn't. That's just step 1 to greatness. That is the step 1 to many things to do. That's the step 1 to great challenges ahead. So, what does Deel do? So we help people around the world to find opportunities, jobs to work across the entire world, and allowing businesses to be their best HR tool where they can hire, manage, and pay. Hire, manage, and pay. So to do that globally is not an easy task. It's highly challenging, highly motivated, and yet you'll keep dreaming about it while you sleep. So moving forward from that, I joined the company. And during that time, they said, Muhammad, great, now it's time for you to start hiring. Oh, this is just a quick slide I forgot to mention. So after a year and a half, roughly speaking, from 45 people, we've reached the level to be 1,300 passionate people across the world, fully remote, plus, they're based in 60 plus countries in the world. And the rest, as I mentioned earlier on. Now, my task was to build the best design team in the world. And first thing when I've been tasked with that, I sat down, put the application, was super excited, released in the social platforms, we're hiring. First month passed, and that was just early in time. No one applied, and I'd be like, what's going on? So what do I need to do? Second month applied, and then I've got one person. With respect, it wasn't good quality to the level we needed. So what shall I do? So at that particular time, I believe talent pool has got different stages as you progress with the company. So I started to manually have no team at the time. So I got one designer, and the head of product was the product manager themselves. So it was just a team of 3 people when we started. So I surfed the web. I started manually pitching, talking, surfing around to find the best designers in the world. So I've got the world now in front of me to hire anyone. So which one shall I pick? So I surfed over 200,000 profiles manually going to see which one shall I pick. Pitched and talked over the internet, sitting from my desk, over a 900 pitched and talked to say and sell the role. Because back to, I think I remember the talker said, it's all about selling and selling. It is true. How would you sell the product that you've got? And I conducted over 330 and more interviews to find the right one, and I currently hired 20. Fantastic designers, love what they do, want to achieve the best on the table. Just give them the problem and leave them to it. And that's that sort of people we look for. So yes, the road to build great design team is magical. You meet different people, different culture, different way of understanding, different things to see, and it does truly expose you to many things that you never thought you would. And it's simply because you love one thing. In my particular, I love design. And they go, like, you meet this amazing people that are hired, highly international, people based in Brazil, Colombia, Portugal, France, Germany, Belgium, Israel, UK, you name it. So my point being is, like, the world is truly your oyster. Like, get the right people to work with, not necessarily the best, but it's getting there. Like, if you get the right mindset of mind to work with, anything is possible. So our mission as a design team is to simplify. As I've seen across the previous presentation, it's always to simplify. And simplifying is often easy to say, but extremely, extremely, extremely hard to do, depending on the complexity that you need to deal with. So our mission is to simplify and deliver the best user experience for people. When we say people, we mean either contractors, employees, businesses, to be able to hire, manage, and pay people anywhere in the world. So with that in mind, setting up the structure, when you hire people, you get the best talent, you get the right people to work with. You get into a level from, you work from 3 to 5 people, product designers, a great team. You reach the point where you see it now going into 9, 10, to my experience. It's no longer a team. Now it's a different complexity where it requires more structured way, in a way to help everyone function. So what we did, we split our design groups to be embedded with the product teams in a vertical ways. So I'm not here to talk about the product in particular, but most likely around the design and how we structured embedding ourselves with that. So each design group consists of or up to 5 teams, depending on the complexity, and each team is led by a design lead. Now, the design lead function is 80% designing hands-on on the product, and 20% of their time not managing, but empowering the group in them. So what they do is they will weekly sync up with the team, review their work, give them actionable feedback, connect the dots between them to make sure they've got what it needs so they can fly and deliver the best. And each product team must have a senior product designer to make sure that they've got the right skills to deliver what it needs. We accompany every single lead with a mid-level designer to help them find that space, find that capacity to help the rest of the teams, as well as the middle-level designer will be learning, growing in their career at that particular time. As well as we've got different juniors, so to join the team, so often we'll be accompanied with a senior designer. So these kind of structure we have is to help growth, learning, and challenging between the guys, so to give a healthy, different of levels or variety of levels in order for people to challenge each other, learn from each other so they can grow. So what you're looking at is the design org that we successfully established, split into 5 groups, excluding the design system in particular, which I'll talk about it in a minute. So each group contains, as I said, up to 5 teams, and each team is led by a design lead. Now, each week the design lead will be syncing, this is quickly to recap, with each team and then provide feedback. Now, if the lead's job to connect the dots between the team, my job is to connect the dots between the groups. And that's often is missed in many organizations that I have seen. I've spoken to many, and then that's the learning I got into here. So by each week, the lead will send me a link of every single product designer's work, and I just go through it, leave them feedback, they take it, and then they action amongst themselves. And the design system right now at this particular stage, because I do strongly believe the maturity of design team, it goes along with the maturity of the company or the business. So if the business starts with 2 or 3 people, you need the generalist, right? So you need someone who can cover end-to-end flow, make sure they've got everything in place. But as you grow, as become like more stronger, you do need the specialists. You do need to have different function and put them from different places to actually help you achieve and deliver the best. So the design system right now is decentralized, so it is horizontally across the teams. So each lead will be syncing with the group to make sure they've got, for example, the right component, the right thing to use. Is there any change? Is there any updates to make sure it's evolving? So it's the key element here is for the design system to keep evolving and changing. And that seems to be working beautifully well. Now, so how do we work? So far what I mentioned about the structure, success we did, and how we function. Now, how do we work? So speed is the key. And often people will be like, but would you compromise the quality to it? There's yes and no answer to it, like to this question, because it's like someone playing the piano or start to play the piano, as myself start practicing. So you'll be looking at the keys and where the keys are, right? And you want to play at speed, or do you want to play a good song? You can't. So therefore, you'll be delivering a song, but most likely not enjoyable to watch, but still something you can hear. You progress, you continue to learn. What happened there is you find yourself, you know where the keys are. Now the next step is, can I read the music? You'll be like, oh yes, you can. So you start learning without looking at the keys. So you read the music. The next step will be like, oh, now can you actually read the music, play the piano, and watch the audience? And I'll be like, oh my God, can I actually do that? Yes, you can. So you do that, and then perhaps the highest level you can get into, can I tune the music to make people happy, make people excited, or make people sad, whatever it is the emotion you want to get to? Yes, you can with music. So it's exactly the same when it comes to design. So it's to do with the maturity of the company and the design team understanding and alignment. So when we hire people, I look for things like, do they love what they do? Do they want to achieve the best to get to the point where they feel I am the best I can be? So I am not, or any manager in the whole company, they're not here to manage anyone. We're truly here just to simply empower people. So if you feel I've got what it takes, all I need is to work with the right people, deliver everything, we believe that you are the expert, you have the full autonomy within your teams, and you are a self-managed person. And being responsible, and if you put that sort of into a weight, you'll find it very interesting. Psychiatrists, psychologists have spoken in the field, like if you give the option for people to choose meaningful life versus responsibility, people will be like, oh, but can I have one or the other? Most likely it would not be the case, because in order for you to have a meaningful life, you actually, or work, whatever it is you do, you need to take the responsibility to do it. So the more responsibility you take, or the more weight you take, the more meaningful you get, and vice versa is true. And that's exactly the same. So we give the full responsibility to the team to be accountable in what they do and what they deliver. So we work in 1 week sprint and a quarter roadmap. And the roadmap is fully defined by the team themselves. So they'll be looking at their data from a customer point of view, from a business point of view, and they say, this is what we'll be delivering for the next quarter. They present it to the stakeholders, get the alignment from there, and then that's your work for the next 3 months. Now, of course, sometimes urgency kicks from here and there, and be that sort of person who has the agility and being able to be adaptable, because we're all adaptable. Humans being going back all the way to caves times, we adapted so much to nowadays. So therefore, it is possible. So in terms of the processes, as WISE, I think they go progress over process, couldn't agree more. I'm not here to talk about these like kind of processes. However, it is most likely around, do you know your onion? Do you know what you need to do in order to deliver what it takes? So you receive the problem. Do you need to test it quickly, validate it, or do you want to actually follow convention, deliver quickly so you can actually learn quickly? The essence here is the faster you deliver, the better you have information and the upper hand you will have against your competition. And decentralized system or design system that we currently have is mainly to empower the guys to move faster. Now, yes, there's lots of talk, and this is not the purpose of this talk, versus centralized and decentralized, and centralized is more quality, and decentralized gives you the speed and the power to move really quickly. And I believe every stage has its own time. At this particular time, that's what we currently do. So it's decentralized, and as I said earlier, it does work beautifully. We established a strong, solid foundation to take us to that level. Now, in terms of, like, you might ask questions like, yes, you do conduct these reviews, but how would you standardize the design to the way it's objectively done? Because if I give designs to 10 different people, they'll give me 10 different answers. Like, it's subjective. This is ugly, or I like the color, I don't like this font, etc. So we've got a standard that we follow. It's nothing new in that, but the only difference that we do it is we do it to exceed the expectation. And often exceeding the expectation is not something gigantic or hard effort. It's actually a small, minor thing you'll add into your design that actually makes it different. The winning factor that, distinguish you from any other competition. I can name you multiples, but that's not the purpose here of this meeting. But, in Deel, we do it differently to exceed the expectation. A quick example perhaps would be quite good is the ability to, for example, terminate contract. I know it's not perhaps as a good example, but it's highly complex, because if I'm a business and for whatever reason someone needs to let go, what happened there is each country will have different regulation, different rules, different way of doing it. How would you design one design that works for all countries or all companies across the world? And we cracked it. It's one design, just works everywhere. And in addition to that, it's just not a simple design to do. It's just, in addition to it, you have an empowered feature. You can choose the date, you can choose the time, severance, wherever you want, in any way of contractual form, like either employee or contractor. That's just one example of many. So overall, if I just put the learnings that I gathered through my career or time is hire the right people, not necessarily the best, but the right people that you will take you to a long run, because this is not a place where you hire people to burn them out and go goodbye. Make sure to hire someone who's willing to give you their best, because it's win-win for them. Like, they're growing their career, the company's growing, everyone's growing. And right people are often hard to find. Build a system so they can function, because, as human, we need to have a system way to help us function. Like, going back all the way 1,000 years ago to present days, we need to have a system. You need to have a way to actually function in order. Otherwise, you'll have a chaos everywhere. The final thing is to empower your team so they can be fast on delivering what they can. Now, yes, do it right so people can trust you. Do it with your best ability so you become accountable, commitment, like into it. Show the world you can care, and your passion will shine through. And that's me. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Muhammed. It was really amazing.
Thank you.
As usual, I'm going to check if we have any questions remote. Yes, we have one. How do you achieve good camaraderie in a fully remote design team distributed across time zones? What sort of design ceremonies do you have for feedback and collaboration?
Good question. So the day-to-day work we do is you have your product ritual. That's a different matter, but from design perspective, each design lead will sync with their team once a week to connect and give them the feedback. I used to, before we gone really big, I used to sync weekly with the reviews, with the leads and the team to make sure the strategy followed. They got the answers they need. Sometimes as you're designing, you get to a point to be like, oh, I need some clarification from here and there. So we clear it there. And every Tuesday we have Design Show and Tell, where all designers gather. We have agenda. We record the session because it's remote. Sometimes people are busy or off sick, touch wood, or whatever the reason is, you've got your video, you can go and watch it if you left your design for people to review it. And the final thing we do, and that's something I used to do, but now I carried it over to my team, is once a month I will meet, or now the lead will meet the design in their team for half an hour, one-to-one. On that meeting, they don't ask them to share any work. They say things like, how are you? How is your last working month? How is your relationship with the team? What can we do to help you fly? Yes, it is hard work, but at the same time, it's highly rewarded. So therefore, you need to make sure to do these checks so the guys are answered or they got what they need.
Wow, super nice. Let's see, do we have any questions here on site? Let me see. There, can we get the microphone here, please?
Thank you for... Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah,
I can hear you.
Thank you for the great presentation. I just wanted to ask you one question. What do you think the role of diversity is in a design team?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
What do you think, what do you see the role of diversity in a design team?
I see it very important to have diversity. It gives you a different perspective, different way of thinking, and thinking is the key to do things differently. It's not necessarily interrupting. There's two types, from my understanding, of games. If you look at it from that perspective, there's the infinite game, and there is the innate game. And often people the infinite player will be like, I want to win the game. But the innate game will be like, the infinite game will be like, I want to actually survive in this game. The innate game will be like, I want to win this game. So taken from that perspective, when I hire to see these diversity, you need to put the people in the right places. Some people will be like, I want to achieve to win, and some people like, I want to master my craft and go for longer. Like all of these things, you need to cater for them to make sure you've got the right environment to help these things flourish. And often it's unseen, and that's the difficult part. How would you see them? How would you be able to see these things to actually predict and help the team before they ask them? A lot of people wouldn't talk, like they just work and then suddenly they find themselves burned out simply because they loved what they did. As a manager, you need to look at it from perspective, oh, you've been working for some time, you need to go and take time off. Or, by the way, I've seen this great work, fantastic, how can you do it differently? Or someone will come to me and say, I've done this way, but I'm stuck, I don't know what to do, and I'll be like, oh, check this and this and this, maybe you'll find a solution. So the key here is not to give an answer, but most likely to direct and guide and flourish these diversity thinking around.
Yeah,
great.
Thank you.
Do we have any other question? We still have time for one more.
There's the hand there.
Thank you. You were talking about your design system, and you have a specialized team for the design system. I was wondering, how can your designers contribute to your design system?
Very good question, thank you. So the design system is a tool to help us move faster in a unified way, and it has to be evolving. So often you see in different companies, from my own experience and others, is don't touch it, don't change it, right? We don't do that. So we do things in a way that, does it solve your problem? The answer is yes. Can you use it? Amazing. Now, if they say, no, it doesn't solve my problem, okay, can you update it and change it? Yes. Fantastic, do it. Or for example, it doesn't solve my problem and I can't update it. Okay, can you create a new one? Yes. Move on. So the key here is like, down to the need, does it solve my problem or not? And the guys will build it, take the behavior and sync with the design system to help them build it.